Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the WSSEA 2025 fall season, brought to you by LandFest. Back in the booth for some exciting Valorant here tonight, and then joined, as always, my good friend D'Lo. How are we feeling tonight, my friend?
Feeling good, my friend. You know, today's been a tiring day, but if there's one thing that can put a bit of a kick in my keister, it's some 4-0 versus 4-0 undefeated action. Two amazing top-of-the-line teams here, Hot Sauce, but only one can leave undefeated.
Yeah, only one can leave undefeated, and these are two teams that ended second and third last season as well, respectively. So, you know, a chance to kind of maybe get that final footing before we get ready for those playoffs. So, and two teams that eventually could meet again in the playoffs, but it's nice to get those bragging rights. It's nice to remain undefeated. I think one of the only other remaining undefeated teams was that Southridge, or is that Southridge team that did get the championship last year. So a little bit of a stepping stone for both of these teams. It is week 5, and the map tonight is Sunset.
And it's going to be our friends Camas and Prairie stepping up to that plate. And like you said, these are two teams that have fallen beneath the same Titans boot. And this might very well be the matchup that decides who is going to be the best contender to try to find that upset, to try to change those history books. But one thing that does not change is our amazing sponsors and how great they are. So hey everyone, I want to give a huge shout out to Zotac Gaming for powering today's stream. Thanks to their incredible support, we're able to bring this broadcast to all of you, helping to showcase the amazing talent in Scholastic Esports. You can show your appreciation for Zotac Gaming by giving them a shout out on social media. How about that? Make sure to join their community on the Discord, and don't you dare forget to use that hashtag powered by Zotac or hashtag ZotacUSA when you post.
That's right. Make a post, tweet it out. Let us know who you might think win tonight's matchup as well. Again, two undefeated teams about to go head-to-head here on Sunset, which is a map that recently got some small but subtle and I think necessary changes. Veto available to be chosen here tonight as well, and has been a juggernaut, but it's kind of a question is, are these players comfortable on that agent yet? And well, we're not going to have to wait too much longer as we get ready for that agent select screen.
I did get to see IEN over in our friends in Indiana. Their veto is tested out a little bit, but it did not unfortunately find too much success. I think you got to make sure you're pairing it with a good amount of utility. Obviously, no smokes, no blinds that you might want for your duelists, where the Jet can sometimes provide a bit more solo utility. I'm seeing the KO, Heyo, Neon, and the Vice. We were literally talking in the green room about how this character has seen some rough patches, but we're going to see if those Ivy Brambles can go on poking.
Yeah, I think Vise was probably one of the agents that got hit the toughest or hit the most there. And so, but we talk about it, right? Especially at the Scholastic level, sometimes it boils down to that comfortability pick. And
Agreed.
if it's an agent that you've played, you know, since the beginning of Inception, then you're probably still very comfortable despite some of those nerfs coming in. And I think Sunset, a map that is still can be very, very viable, especially when you're cutting off some of those entry points. Maybe you can isolate that 3v1, that 2v1 on defense, give yourself a little bit of a player advantage. But you've got the double duelist there as well. This is something that we've seen pretty heavy in the Scholastic scene, not as much in the pro scene, but pretty heavy in the Scholastic scene. And it's paid off for a lot of teams. I mean, a lot of these 4-0 squads have some heavy fraggers. So if you can pop off, it certainly works in your favor.
And we, of course, have our friend Prairie leading the charge for Prairie, and of course, on that Phoenix that we've seen them operate on so many times before to grand success. Will that be the case this time around? I've got to say, it's almost like every single character we mentioned in the green room is now on the field. I talked about Neon. She's there. Prairie heard me mention the Harbor. Shout out, it's on the field. What does have me worried, though, Hot, is not a lot of utility in terms of the smokes for Prairie. They've really got to make sure they're utilizing that Cove well from the Harbor and that sheer on the wall from the Vice.
I think that's, you're exactly right. I mean, the smoke are going to come from Harbor, the wall there as well. And so that will be their point of entry. Combined with the flashes of KO and Phoenix, you certainly can make it work. But, you know, it's just about how well you can make that work, especially when you can look at the other side of Camas. You've got Sova there for the intel. You've got Cypher as well. And so, honestly, these two teams kind of set up very well to combat each other.
I'm curious who's going to be the aggressor. And already can see that Omen setting up the smoke because they have that advantage. Tripwire is up and running. But not quite sure if they want to test their luck so far. Just a bit of a waiting game here. Or crouching one at the very least. No blood just yet.
You know, especially in these first rounds, pistol rounds can be crucial. Be patient here. Neon looking to blast through. Does get caught by that tripwire. We'll have to back off momentarily here. Diamond Dude being patient, has a screen up in the way as well. Meow already getting the plant down. The shorty comes into play as
Oh,
Wisey
no!
finds the trade. You gotta check
Dear
the
God!
corners. Diamond Dude, the right click finds two.
Diamond makes it rough for him. Tuna is going to be the big fish at the top of the food chain. Takes down Bizy and gobbles up a pickle for their troubles. Near flawless round there from Camas, but my God, what an amazing play by the Cypher to just utilize that wave, utilize Prairie's own utility against them.
Yeah, just tucked into the corner there, and we said it. You got to check the corners. Great trigger discipline. Finds the first with a right click. Gets a second with the right click, which can be something that is a little bit of a gamble, especially since that buff or that nerf many moons ago. But in the right click we trust, as I always like to say, and it comes up big here for Camas. They get round one. It allows them to have some funds here for round two, and typically when you win round one, you go on to win that second one. So Camas looking to kind of dictate the tone and the pace here early.
Outlaw in the hands of the Tuna. See if they can grab something around this corner. The KO not going to want to test their luck. Software update says that looks like danger to me. Now it's going to be a 4-man push up here. The Vice is all by the lonesome, but we'll reconvene with the rest of the squad. You can already tell that Prairie want to play this one slow based on their actions in the first round as well. Ronin is going to be the first Ronin to find. Bizy will go down without any answer back, and already Camas on the attack.
Slow things down just a bit here as DSW will back off. We can see that rotation considered in play. Mr. Potato shots ring out, but he doesn't find the pick. The decoy causes the flash as Tuna with the Outlaw will find Prairie, who's been quite a juggernaut here for Prairie, but Meow still able to get the plant down off the harbor here. With that, look to play, but
nice.
Potato comes up with a big one. Diamond Dude to answer back.
Unfortunate you couldn't keep the KO alive for a bit longer before they get TKO themselves. Diamond Dude drops the utility. The Cove is already down as well from the harbor, means no safety left for you. They'll be buried at sea. Sea of bullets, courtesy of Ronin. Only the Vice is going to be left, and unfortunately she gets sheared right down, pruned into submission. That's going to be an easy retake from Camas and a second round victory.
Well, we talked about it, when you win that first round, you often go on to get the second round.
Yep.
But I think the important part for Camas is they only drop a single member in that one as well. So it allows them to begin to pad that economy, to invest in those stocks and bonds, and work on being able to buy in multiple rounds after. So it'll be a big bonus round for them. It's a food buy now for Prairie, and a round that they should win. So they have to make sure Camas does not steal this one away off the bonus.
At the very least, it's already showing what we should expect from teams of this caliber. Hot Sauce, they are complying with what you ask, which is if you're going to buy together. Prairie making sure to purchase like birds of a feather. But will they be plucked? Will they descend down to the ground? Potato trades out their life for Ronin. Not too shabby a start.
Well, still trying to flock together these birds. DSW
Oh, no.
there finds one. Bizy, though. DSW answers back with a 2K. Meow still trying to search for the plan and does. Teleporting away as Bizy has the triple. Back to a 2v2. Prairie looking for their first round, but Camas has given themselves a good shot at stealing it away.
Looking like a nightclub the way all these neon lights are flashing. Both characters on each side will stay alive. It's the Cove and the Cypher on each other. So that's going to be a lot of utility in terms of defense. But now Meowscles goes in the offense, punches the lights out of Tuna, and Bizy finishes off the Cypher. That's revenge for round one. That's the first round in Prairie's pocket.
Huge quadra kill here for Neon, and we'll have that ult on deck and ready to flex now. The first to get there as well. And that ult can be a very devastating point-and-click style destruction. So we'll see if they can utilize it. On the other side of things, though, Camas maybe breaking out a couple Odins.
This could be destructive. Everyone, we're going to need some hip replacement surgery on aisle 3 in just a second, because sometimes you can just sweep with that. There's just so many bullets in the clip you got to worry about, and oftentimes we'll see covering fire, no, destructive fire instead. Great way to tear through these coves that are actually being a really good thorn in the side against Camas utilized by that harbor. And that's why you see them constantly using the spike in their pocket, because they have that nigh indestructible bubble that can really force a lot out of you in order to take it down.
Oh, we see that pressure heading toward the B site, that harbor wall blocking off the entirety of the back of the site. It allows them to pressure on with ease. The plan
Nice.
immediately goes down, and all that time taken off the clock here.
Oh god, you got to watch the corner. Diamond Dude is always in the corner. The wave comes through, the recon bolt is out, and the flash is successful. Forces Ronom to reconsider, but Yoru has no such qualms. Drops 2 with the quickness. Ronom and DSW combine for more. And it's another amazing, flawless retake, in fact, from Camas.
Yeah, that's almost a little bit baffling. I mean, we see Prairie pressure on with ease. They don't lose a single member. They get the plant down, and then Camas returns fire immediately. A flawless round. They don't drop a single member on the retake. And again, that's kind of be a little bit of a devastating round here for Prairie, especially coming off the back of that full buy.
I need to pay attention now to where Meowscles is positioned and where the rest of the team is positioned once that spike drops. Are we just kind of expecting the job to be done? Sure, that's part of the objective is to get the spike down, but you also have to defend it. You also have to defend yourselves. Self-preservation, especially on the part of this Vise, I'm not going to lie. You already have learned your lesson one time. You cannot let this Cypher corner camp you because at the end of the day, they're going to have their way. Tuna grabs 2 before Pickle finally gets their number. Already things looking rough for Prairie.
Yeah, you know, and again, we've seen them pressure on, find these early plants, but they're still planting kind of in a default position. So if you have control of the site and you're able to plant out in the open, it's going to make that post-plant situation a little bit easier for you as well. So something to kind of keep in mind. Unfortunately, Prairie playing with a member down here in this round. DSW and the rest of the crew doing a great job of just remaining patient.
Member down, but also Camas utility up. That recon dart instantly alerts them that all 3 are together. Smoke comes out there from the Omen, forces them to start to split up. Could be a dangerous factor. The run it back right into the guns blazing of the Yoru. C-Gamer does return the favor. Meowscles chokes out DSW, but Ronom will take them down and trade. The defuse begins. You got to step up quick, but the Cyber Cage is going to make it an awfully difficult task. Diamond Dude finished the job. Camas on top.
Yeah, I think some of the biggest things here between these two teams has kind of been that positioning, whether it's pre or post plant. It seems like Camas just has slightly better positioning. They're able to find that crossfire, and the fact that they've got 2 Odins as well that create these thunderstorms that just rain down a hailstorm of bullets can be so difficult to deal with. You take a look at the alt economy, it certainly slightly favors Camas here as well.
And that's where the fact that you don't have smokes becomes an issue. The shear is indestructible, but really, when have we seen the shear be impactful from C-Gamer here? And the Cove is nice while it's up, but unlike a smoke from the Omen, it can be destroyed by mere bullets alone. And bullets they have plenty of. Potato returns the favor, takes down the Yoru.
I think the sheer much more valuable on that defensive side. It's hard to utilize it well on the offensive side unless you're lurking somewhere near mid. Unfortunately, C-Gamer tried that, was taken out by DSW. Mr. Potato will find Ronom on a trade back, though, and now Diamond Dude flashed away, backs off momentarily, has been spotted, but still rocking that Odin.
KO took some damage for their troubles, but at the very least, a man advantage here for Prairie. Never mind, but never mind again. Bizey takes them down with the snipes onto Tuna. That's going to be a big bluefin for the market.
Cover going out.
Nagia still makes sure the pressure is not seated. Camas cannot get an easy retake of the point. Forced out by the wave to be slowed up as well. The Cyber Cage comes through. The Omen smoke on top. They've got to recognize that something is going awry. Gets the half defuse, but it's not going to be enough. A penny for your troubles and a bullet for the head. Prairie take their second round.
They do have to kind of, I won't say waste because they get the round win, but they do have to kind of expend that Neon ult there for not a ton of value to solidify that round. So hopefully it's something that doesn't come back to haunt them because they only have 1 ult on deck. C-Gamer not too far away, but again, the ult economy here for Camas. They've been able to win so many rounds already. They haven't had to expend any of these ults, but they've got 5 now. I'd like to see at least 2 of them used in this next round.
And look how now Prairie is adjusting to Camas's adjustments. The fact that these Odins are being a staple of the roster means that the KO now has to bear the burden of that spike instead of the Harbor, which means that your role changes a little bit. You're now the Guardian instead of the Playmaker. You got to make sure that you're seeding that. You're obeying the new necessary calls for the team to make sure that their strategy works out well. Tuna could be in some trouble.
Ooh, he takes one on the way out, though. Pickle answers back the trade 1-for-1. DSW on the back battle has been suppressed here. Yeah, shows a little bit of them nice grills on the way out as well. Has a stinger in hand, not the most ideal weapon, but certainly can be a headshot that is Diamond Dude will find C-Gamer here at mid.
You've just been all-fathered. Diamond Dude, make sure to put that Odin to work. Ronom, if they stood their ground, could have done the same thing, but the Harbor ult is going to cause a bit of a reckoning here. the wave, blocks them from actually seeing if any of their handiwork has come to bear any fruit, because now Rotom still stays alive, sitting pretty. Cannot say the same for Harbor. You dare try to make me swim, and they're going to instead drown in the bullets from the Sova. One last buckshot comes in from the Yoru. It's a team ace. Nice work there by Camas.
Love to see that Bucky action in full force, and Yoru will upgrade to a Phantom off the back of that play, and now extending that lead just a little bit further here as well. I feel like Sunset often can be more of a defensive-sided map, so I think for Prairie, it's still not out of the not out of the works. I'd like to see him get at least 2 more rounds on this attacking side, but even with just 4 on the attacking side, it's something that is still a very winnable game.
Now, I'm just curious if Prairie have now made this adjustment. Oh, actually, in fact, going back to the vintage, the Harbor now bearing the spike once more. What is the counterplay up against an Odin? Because you normally think about sniping, it's peek. Make sure you're not peeking improperly. But with these just massive machine guns that seem to have endless belts of bullets ready for you, how do you make sure to avoid the inevitability of death?
Yeah, I think Snipes is great. Alts work well as well, or swing together. One Ferrari peaks while one close peaks. The sprays can be a little sporadic, but you got to hit those shots instantly. Tuna rode in, and they find 3 in succession, and it's just trouble walking through those smokes. Prairie doing their best off the back of a 2K. Has to run it back, but not in the best of situations to make a 3v1 retake here.
Okay, at the very least, they don't have anyone coming from the flank, but that still means 3 opponents staring you dead in the face. That smoke's not going to last forever. In fact, the blind fire through it. Prairie gets grazed just a little bit. A bit of brine stains the battlefield, and you have 2 Odins trained on your location. Goodbye.
Very tough to deal with the Odins. And again, I think, the op is certainly a very good way to deal with one of those Odins at times, but you got to be able to have the funds as well. And we've seen Prairie maybe kind of forcing into some of these rounds, some half buys, some full buys, some Spectres and Stingers with some rifles, but never that full buy together. And so you've got to find the full buy together. You have to address where the Odins are sitting. If you don't have a smoke to block them off, you look to use that flash or that concuss, that stun from Neon to try and help you enter a little bit. Even that run it back. Get that life wasted, find that trade at a minimum, and try to chop them down a bit.
Oh, Yoru's forced to TP after unfortunately whiffing the snipe shot on the KO. Prairie, though, does get gobbled up. That's a good first kill for you. One of the offensive linchpins there. Prairie, the Harbor is looking a lot worse for wear.
Izzy tucked around Sid here. Yoru still with that snipe. Oh, the flick not quite there. Had so many angles to check, wondering whether it was going to come from the left or right side. We'll send out the decoy. C-Gamer. That's a shot sitting, and now a sheriff to an operator is a tough challenge to make. DSW will find one more.
Peek? No. Boo. Peek up boo. That was unfortunate there to try to challenge directly. You took down the clone, but the real one's an awful lot more scary. Camas up 7-2. Again, defensive favored map, so we can't throw Prairie out to the Wolves and say, there's no chance. Absolutely there is. But you do got to hope they play with a bit more cohesion. It just feels like the offensive threats here so far from Camas, their placement, their positioning, their crosshair placement as well, is just second to none.
Yeah, and it's tough. Like, if you have a raise or something like that, you can destroy some of these trips without touching them on that B site. We don't really see that here. And Camas is doing a good job of switching up where they're being here as well on these rotations. The slide out from Tuna. Prairie finds the first. DSW will pick up one as well. And Camas still holding on strong here near the A site.
The fact that they took down the Neon on Camas actually does make quite a bit of impact, because they were one of the biggest offensive threats for their side. The Yoru puts out the clone before retreating back to a better vantage point. Trying to take advantage of that high ground. The Odin comes through, only going to be able to find one Sun before the other commits patricide, taking down Rotom in trade.
Needed to swing together. That's how they chop down that Odin. They get the first, but unfortunately, there's still an op here amongst the Odins to deal with. And for Camas, it's just a complete arsenal. Diamond, dude, will find one more. DSW, the headshot through the wall. And the troubles continue here for Prairie.
I think the issue is just something that you touched on a little bit, is the fact that they have these flashes to engage, right? But a flash is a lot more of a momentary respite. And even then, it's no guarantee, whereas complete obfuscation of the vision with a smoke, it's prolonged, it's effective, it's simple, but there's a reason why it's so fundamental to so many comps. I just feel like Prairie are not utilizing their utility to make these openings. It feels like they're playing with only guns rather than playing as characters that have this roster of utility that can assist them.
Yeah, and again, I think, Vise has just had so many nerfs. Had they started out on the defensive side, Vise could be a little bit more of a formidable opponent, but you really need your opponents to walk through that wall for it to work and to cut them off, and you don't get that as much on this attacking side. So I feel like they haven't been able to utilize the abilities to their full potential, and already it's going to be some more trouble as Tuna finds Mr. Potato. We need to see that flash come in first before that peek from KO.
I mean, obviously, Potato, the natural prey of the tuna fish, all known here on Animal Planet. Let's see, though, what's going to be next on the nature documentary. Steps through the waves, only to instantly meet a wave of bullets. Diamond Dude combines two. Meowscles finds the three-piece, but is quickly silenced by the Yoru. It's a 1v1. Yoru up against Prairie.
Prairie going to circle back here. Knows that Yoru is over here, so we'll begin to head through mid and send that decoy out first just to see if there is a lurk, maybe waiting for this cross. But Prairie wasting no time. We'll get the plant down. It's going to be that 1v1 retake. Yoru versus Phoenix.
Not having the clone is actually massive, and unfortunately now knowing, thanks to that utility, that they are present, Dimensional Drift is going to sprint right at them. I know where you are. You know where I am. What are we going to do about it?
Oh, the blind. He's going to keep spraying, though, and now the wall here as well. All he has to do is continue to buy up time, doing a great job of that thus far. Yoru has not even decided to tap that spike to try and make him to commit forward, and timing is everything. It's a big round for Prairie and Prairie High School.
That feels great. I'm very happy that not only did Prairie win that round just for the ease of the mentals, but that was Prairie who delivers the death blow. The captains got to make sure to lead by example, and they played that perfectly. Like you mentioned, realizing time's on their side and against the Yoru and forcing them into the pressure cooker.
Yeah, and KO's right hand, his undertoss flash is so strong. I'd like to see them utilizing that a little bit, where you almost throw it to your own back and you peek with that flash to your back. It's going to blind you, but for half the amount of time it blinds your opponents. And we've seen a lot of people have a ton of success utilizing KO that way.
We'll see if they can manage to utilize it. I mean, the Arc Rose is already like such an irrelevant aspect of things because you have to not only place it, but it can be destroyed now at this point. Roam around the corner, sweeps down two, hip replacement on aisle 3, please. Mr. Potato's gonna need some new parts. So is Tuna, they get shot out.
That one hurt my back just watching. Diamond Dude finds Meowscles here as well, and it's all down to Prairie. They have the run it back, but in a 4v1, it's not the ideal situation. The pincer play comes in. The blind is good. He finds one.
What?
Can he get the second? It is a dance for death as DSW will switch to the classic and send them packing. The 9-3 curse is what Prairie will have to call upon.
Pull out the pistol. You can almost hear the audible gulp come out from Prairie as they realize they gotta switch to the classic. Uh-oh, I think I'm in trouble. I'm in danger. Yes, you were, buddy, but nonetheless, a good attempt at the very least. Does not go down without a fight. Yeah, man, this Odin strategy has got to be accounted for. Someone call Kratos. We need to kill some gods.
Yeah, and again, this is why I personally also love using the Odin, is because not only is it a very strong weapon with a ton of rounds in the mag, but it's one of these weapons that can mentally frustrate opponents. It can be very annoying to have to continuously go up against an Odin. People often call it the noob tube or the noob cannon. And so if it's something that it can allow you to get into the head of your opponents as well, it's a win-win out on the battlefield. I
mean, Camas is saying, if you guys want to step up to South Ridge like this, you're not going to have a good time. We are just the appetizer in their eyes, at the very least. Gamer warms up some pizza rolls for themselves, maybe some tuna rolls instead. Diamond Dude and DSW quickly answered back, dropping Gamer and Potato. Smoke clears, and Yoru cleared out. Nice kill there by Bazzi.
DSW up top, 34 health as the Owl drone goes out, looking for a bit of intel here. The plant slowly beeping away. Ronum, did he spot the one in the corner? I don't believe so, but now just 21 health here for Diamond Dude, and not a ton to work with for Camas.
And Neon's got to stay safe, but instead of the one sliding right into danger, right into Rodham's classic, finishes off the last two with a flourish. That is so unfortunate. You dive for safety. No, you dive to die.
Yeah, and had they been able to win that pistol round, they go on to get the next one, and they're looking at 5 on the board. They cut the lead in half. If they could steal that bonus round away, all of a sudden we have a game. But because they lose the pistol round, funds become incredibly tight. They feel the pressure. They consider forcing in here as well, which we see from half the members. Honestly, I'd like to see everybody force in at this point, because you don't have many rounds to give. It's not ideal, but you need to make those mistakes or those decisions together as a team. And it's something that Prairie has struggled with just a little bit here on Sunset.
The moment Ronim has enough money in their Amazon wish list, they instantly pick up the Odin. Tuna does take down Baizi. Pickle Ree answers back. DSW drops the bot, and Pickle Ree will finish off Diamond Dude. Instantly going to be answered by the Yoru, though. Blood on each side, but Prairie do not have the favor.
Sheriff in hand needs to make some magic happen here. Prairie has a ton of health to work with. Camas, 3 members, but 1 dangerously low here as well. But they've got the Odin in the hands of Ronim, and I think that might be the big problem here.
DSW experiencing some of their own. Dropped down to barely a fraction of their health bar. Pinned down between 2, but they're not the most important target. The TP tries to get into safety. Meowscles does not allow it, but Gamer does fall in trade. Great peek around the corner. Meowscles does not care. They are the one who rules this corner.
This is great. Unfortunately, there's an Odin, which can break that bubble easily. The spray to the right, and there he gets it. Had Ronim had any other weapon, we may have just seen that clutch come out from the harbor side of Prairie. But because it's an Odin, there's just so little you can do in that situation.
It's literally, we were talking about this when the roles are reversed, how smart an Odin is against the cove, against the harbor, man. There is no sea that you are safe in. International waters? Absolutely not. I will find you wherever you sail to.
No smooth sailing when there's an Odin in play. They can't navigate the ships through the rough waters, and now I think those waters get a little bit more treacherous here as it is 11-3. Camas 1 away from match point. Prairie backs against the wall. The economy not great as well. They need something magical here.
Pickle Ree embraces the darkness, says it's my old friend, but Potato's in quite the spot of bother. Tries to pop the flash, gets popped a cap, courtesy of Tuna. Baizi does answer back, but still looking rough. Prairie awfully low.
Yoro, the judge, judging down the victims. Baizi, though, and Gamer answer back.
Okay.
It's not an Odin, but it's an Ares, and it's close enough. Shots continue to rain down in both directions. Diamond Dude will dance around as Ronim continues to be a menace.
What?
Triple kill, and they are up to series and match point.
Disgusting! Absolutely disgusting! What is this gun? What is this? Prairie saying, "Yo, is there a BOGO offer for that? Can you slide one of those?" Gamer considers it for a second. Says, "No, I'm not worthy." It's much like Mjolnir. It's very dangerous to wield.
Yeah, it can be tough to deal with on both sides, but for Ronim and crew, it has been a knight in shining armor for them as they continue to drop bodies. 17-4 with 4 assists here for Ronim. A couple ults on deck and just 1 more round needed now for Camas to close it out with an undefeated season.
I don't think Ronim even knows what the reload key is. They've completely taken off their keyboard. They made a dance emote for that instead. It's unnecessary. Superfluous, in fact. Meowscles around this corner does put down the Odin quite early. Unfortunately, it's still in the hands of Camas, so they could decide to pick it up. Dimensional Drift grabs a bit more information for them and now tries to finish the job. Meowscles gets paid back.
At least they get Ronim away from that Odin and maybe a chance to get another round here, but Diamond Dude with other plans. Finding a nice pick. Yoro out of distance with the judge. Does get chopped down. It's Potato. Tuna now. Potato for 2. Prairie hanging on by a thread.
Okay, Prairie feeling good off that. And just as soon as I say it, DSW says, here's a size 20 boot to the face. Tries to make sure you can try those on instead. Potato's finished off. And Prairie High School, unfortunately, have nothing left in the tank. Camas continue undefeated.
Yeah, just a tough day here for Prairie. And again, I think, starting out on the attacking side with the composition that they were running, it just kind of hurt them a little bit with that vise and things like that. But I mean, we've all been there, right? Sometimes you just don't have a great game, and that's okay. You've had an amazing season already. You fall to 4-1, but you've already clinched a playoff spot, and you might just get a chance at some revenge later in this playoff run against Camas.
Yeah, now you got 2 grudge matches, right? You got the Money Machines here on Camas, and you also have Southridge. Darn you, Southridge. 2 teams you can shake your fist at and hope that they rue the day they stepped against Prairie. But, man, I really want to shout out Ronim. I think, Hot Sauce, I don't know if you were here for this week when I said it, but I said, I feel like Sovas never carry. And then instantly the Sova in that series carried, and now instantly every Sova is out here to prove me so wrong. Ronim is the last Ronin. You ever see that movie? It's disgusting the way that they are a one-man army. All you need to do is give them a light machine gun.
Yeah, I mean, certainly capable of being a one-man army, but you got to look at the kills for the rest of the crew. Everybody in double
It's
digits, a
true.
ton of first bloods, and I think the whole crew just playing like that well-oiled machine, which is
Agreed.
what leads to victory after victory. And it's nice that you can have any player have those standout performances. I think that's equally as important. But when the team is consistently playing well, I think that's when you find yourself having these undefeated seasons. So for Camas, there's still one more stepping stone. That Southridge team hasn't been beaten either. They're the returning champions as well. So I look forward to that matchup coming in the future.
I certainly can say the same. And if you have grand aspirations looking forward to your esports career, well, I got news for you. This broadcast is part of LandFest Scholastic Esports Program, a program that supports this league and many others. Since launching, LandFest has delivered over 300 broadcast to Scholastic leagues in Washington and Indiana. It's quite a lot. We provide these broadcasts free of charge to the leagues, schools, and teams we cover. Your generous donations, though, are what make that possible. Every $200 raised covers the operating costs for one regular season broadcast. If you appreciate our work, please consider scanning that QR code on the screen and donating today. Open your hearts and maybe, just maybe, open your pocketbooks.
Yeah, it's all for a great cause as well. I mean, getting a chance to showcase all the wonderful young talent that we have both here in Washington and Indiana State has been truly a blessing for me as well. I'm honored to get to come on here, week in and week out and get to yell at the mic and have some fun with both of these wonderful groups. But yeah, it's people like you that open those wallets and donate to help make all of this possible. So we do certainly appreciate each and every one of you.
And we also appreciate, of course, the teams on the field here today for fighting it out their hardest. Prairie might not have come away with a victory, but there is certainly a lot to look at and a lot to capture in a bottle, and some things that you can maybe try to learn from. Do that VOD review, that hot sauce you're always mentioning. Make sure that you're constantly striving to improve. Remember, that L never stands for losers. It stands for learners. But as far as lessons to learn from, that is all we're going to have for you here today. I've been D'Lo, joined by Hot Sauce here in the booth for Week 5 of the Valorant WSSEA series. We've, of course, had our almighty eyes in the sky, Connie on the console, as well as Taylor. Please thank our production for all they do. We could not yell at games without them. And last, but certainly not least, thank you, loyal, obedient viewer, for your time. We hope you've enjoyed this series just as much as we have. Keep an eye to the sky for more WSSEA action coming at you. Until then, good games and good night.
Planted. One enemy remaining. I'm pissed. Last player standing.
My ultimate's ready.